Hey FLOSSTUBE, it's Leigh from Creatively here on the 1st of May 2022 with FLOSSTUBE number 123. It's going to be another long one. I've got too much stuff to show, but I start going back to the office next week, probably 2 or 3 days a week, so I'm going to have less time for stitching during the day because when I commute I can't stitch in the morning or at lunchtime. We'll see about the lunchtime thing, but at the moment, so that's going to leave me just the evenings, and the maximum I can do in an evening is 2 hours. By the time you get home, get dinner sorted, clean up the kitchen, sit down in front of the goggle box for like 7:30, and I go to bed at 9:30. So probably I'm doing 4 or 5 hours a day at the moment when I'm not commuting, and I am going to be going, anyway, it's going to reduce probably, but that's okay. So we'll see what happens next week, but have quite a bit to show you. Some new stuff's come in, so a bit of haul, a bit of not happy mail, but some Stitchy Kindness and some giveaways and quite a lot to show you. So yeah, a lot to look forward to. Quickly, I just want to say thank you. I literally just had a text from my best friend Tan to say she'd watched a recent FLOSSTUBE video and had seen in the comments, I think when I mentioned, that, her dad had passed away, and I'd been up for the funeral, and she saw a lot of your kind comments and prayers and thoughts and all that thing in the comments, and she asked that I pass on her thanks for her and her mum. She'd read them out to her mum, and just, the fact that the kindness of strangers, that people were sending kind thoughts their way is really appreciated, so thank you. A quick update on Dad. Dad spent 8 days in hospital and he came out on Friday. I got a text from him saying, I'm home and I'm out in my shed and I'm really happy. And I'm like, should you be in your shed because you just got out of hospital and it'll be cold and damp? But you know what? He was happy. And then when I called him yesterday for a catch up, he was out and about visiting people. So must be feeling better. I guess they got the lung infection under control. Still a mystery bacteria, but the biggest issue was just dealing with his heart. So it does look like his heart health has deteriorated generally, and that probably contributed to him getting sick, and then further exacerbated by being sick because breathing, fluid, lungs, heart all work together. I don't know what that means yet, but he's home and that's good, and I'm not going up there at this stage, which also means I don't have to shuffle a whole lot of stuff around. I'm drinking tea with lemon and honey today because I feel extra. I did have my neighbours over just for morning tea. I went to the market with Sandy, picked up some veggies. I made a list this week. I did a little bit of kind of rough meal planning so that I didn't buy too many vegetables, because I do see things and I go, oh, I can make that recipe, and I buy enough vegetables for about 6 recipes. Keep in mind that I live on my own and I often cook enough for 3 or 4 meals, so I only need 3 recipes worth of vegetables a week because I eat leftovers. Like I'll eat the same thing for 2 or 3 dinners and a lunch, or 2 dinners and 2 lunches, or so anyway, I was really good, and I'm like, I can get those vegetables next week and cook those things next week. So yeah, so local fruit and veggie market, which was nice. And then when they went home to wash their veggies and I came home here, I whipped up some chocolate chip and banana muffins, so they were just out of the oven when they arrived for coffee and muffins. That was really nice. So that's all happened. Then I got out the ironing board. It's now 12:38. Yep, 12:38 on Sunday, and I'm getting into this video. I have got a piece of kit on its way to me, I guess a bolt-on arm that looks like it'll hold my phone above my head. So if that works out okay, that might mean a future stitch with me or watch me stitch or chat with me video. I'm not really sure. I'm thinking maybe I could have, maybe even do a live on a Sunday afternoon or something and have, I could have my iPad live and I could be recording on my phone. We'll see what happens. I might just let a few people know about it so we don't, if it goes horribly wrong, they can laugh at me. I don't know. Yesterday we had a stitchy catch up for the Wellington stitchy catch up, I guess. It's organised by Anne, supported by Sarah, and we meet in Johnsonville at the community hub, and loosely we have them on when there is a 5th Saturday in the month. It's probably about 15-20 people there. So it's really nice. So just to catch up with some local gals, sit around and stitch, and just share in the joy that our hobby is, and it's really nice. So that was really nice to do that. And I did have Sam came over. So Sam has a YouTube video, FLOSSTUBE video, Mind My Needle. I'm pretty sure most of the Kiwi girls following me know who she is, because she was recording long before me. They had a bit of a hiatus and now she's sort of back to it pretty regularly, which is really nice. So she brought over with her a whole lot of small charts that she's given to me to stitch and give away, and I'm not giving any of these away today. However, I'm just going to show you what they are and let you know whether I think I'm going to stitch them or not. I will be probably doing little giveaways regularly. So I said to her, why doesn't she give them away? And she said, well, first of all, she wants to give them to me to stitch. So because I can use some scraps of fabric and in theory stitch a few little smalls as part of my 50 at 50, although to be fair, I probably won't stitch them as part of my 50 at 50. I joked that she's given them to me, so I'll pay for postage. So these, when I do give them away, there'll be a collaboration between Mind My Needle and Creative Leigh. Chart provided by Mind My Needle and postage provided by Creative Leigh. So, and she laughed. I'm like, yeah, I see who's getting the better end of the deal. But I think she's stitched all of these or isn't going to stitch them. So I'll just quickly show you. I did give one away yesterday to Judith, because I wasn't going to stitch it, and she said, oh, I like that, so I gave that to her, and it was some animal in a dress, and I don't do animals in clothes. Okay, this is one that Sam had promised me ages ago. I'd seen her stitch it, and I was like, I want to stitch that. So this is definitely going to be stitched by me at Little House Needleworks, the Stitching Bee, and it's so cute, and she had stitched that one. So that is in the to stitch list, and again carrying on the bee theme, honeybee sampling. I think that's really adorable as well, so I'm keen to stitch that at some stage. And I have a number of little charts that have bees. So what other bees do we have? Little House Needleworks. I think this is really cute as well, so I'll stitch this. And it's called Singing the Blues, again Little House Needleworks, and it's cute. This is a bluebird, C, D, E, F, G, etc. It's really sweet. So that one's in the to stitch pile. Sam stitched this one and she did it really big. Instead of 1/1 on 28 count, I think she did it 2/1 on 28 count. It's really big and it's really fantastic. Brick House Sampler by Brenda Gervais. So yeah, I'll stitch that at some stage. That's obviously not a small, but Sam had finished with it. I'll stitch this at some stage by Laurie Holt of Bee in My Bonnet. Eat, Sleep, Stitch, and Sam stitched this and then she applicated onto a project bag, a patchwork project bag that she made, and it's so cute. So that'll be a quick little stitch. And yeah, and again, eventually once there's a stitch, they'll all be passed on. So keep following. Other ones I will stitch, this little Heart and Hand Sunflower Sampler. So any that need little charms, the charms are no longer here, obviously. I don't think this one had a charm. But I have a butt ton of charms that I just bought recently, so that's going to be really cute. And just sorting out the then we've got Bird in the Hand to Valentine's Day. I think it's really cute. I probably will stitch this. This is now in the maybe pile. And this is one that would have had a little charm. Up here there's a little heart. So easily subbed in with something. Bird in the Hand Winter. This has a little snowflake charm that's that I would have to find, or someone would have to find. I don't know about this one. This one's also a maybe. I can handle a hat on an animal, but I just can't handle. I just don't like bunnies and dresses and things. It's a bit weird to me, but that's fine. If you like it, that's great. I just doesn't float to my boat. This one is Bird in the Hand Thanksgiving, and it had a little acorn charm, but I probably won't. You know what, I don't know. I might stitch it and just change it up a little bit so it's not exactly Halloween-y. It is cute. Oh, they are cute. I like them. This one I won't stitch, and this will be passed on at some stage. Lizzie Kate coming to Town Centre. It's just way too Christmassy for me, but it's really cute, so we'll see. Thank you, Sam, for passing those on. That's really kind of you, and I really appreciate it. Then there's some stuff that I got in that I spent my hard-earned $2 on. So Art and Frame had a sale the other week, last week, week before, I'm not sure, on their Rosewood Manor. I think it was the week before. And I checked, and there's this one here. So Huntergatherer had been on my list, so I got a little bit discounted. I like reading up about it. It makes sense. She was inspired by photos of her dad, who loved to hunt and fish, and he was a hunter-gatherer for sure, miss him loads. So I kind of had the same thing. It's nice to have a masculine, traditionally masculine I should say, but sort of chart. I don't know. I too thought about my dad. Now my dad didn't go deer. He might have gone deer hunting once, but my dad did like fish. Did. I guess he doesn't do it very often now. Like fishing, he used to go duck shooting. I went duck shooting with him one time as a young'un, and I hated it miserably. I'm actually quite a good shot, but I don't like guns. So I went to, Dad took me along to like a rifleman's club one time to shoot small bore rifle things. I don't really even know what it was. I just don't. Yeah, I'm quite a good aim. I'm quite good at, but I just don't like it. So I just don't like guns. But I appreciate that I eat meat, so you got to get the animal somehow. Anyway, so I kind of think at some stage I'll personalise this with my dad's details. So I'll add it in some here. It'll be easy enough to adjust. Even modifying down here and taking out one of these rows of foliage and adding in some details. Like, I guess make it a sample for my dad. Probably change it a little bit from the corally pinks to something else, but I just really like it. I liked it when it came out, and I'm really glad I've got it. That was a really long way to talk about the fact that I bought that chart on sale. And then chart can't travel alone, and this was on my list from Nashville, so I got this as well. What's really funny is, of all the local girls, New Zealand girls and stuff, so Zeb had shown she'd bought this a week or so. She'd got this in with her order. Then I'm like, look what I finally got. And then the next day, Sam on her video is like, look what I got. And then privately, Judith's like, look what I got the next day. So we talked about maybe doing a start along, stitch along at some stage, based on when it suits us. And I think Zeb's like, give me a month or so to get it kitted up. But Zeb, I haven't talked to you about this, but I suggested yesterday, let's aim to do a New Year start with this. So I think all of us are going to stitch this potentially differently, like whether on patchwork or one bit of fabric or the called for, or making it up with Lugana or what have you. But we all bought it for this. I mean, I'm not going to flick through it because you should have seen this a million times in other videos. But yeah, we're all keen to stitch this design, and then I'm quite keen at some stage to just work my way through all the various heart designs, and I imagine a bowl full of hearts, because it is called A Heart Remembers, and there are a lot of smalls in here that are have heart templates and things. So that is kind of half of the charm of it, really. I'm going to plan for this to be maybe a New Year's start. And I have an idea about what I'm going to do for fabric, and I'll share that later on if and when I carry it through. What else did I get in? Well, back on the 18th of February, I put an order in with Mill on the Floss in France for some of their Tabby Cat linen. You might have seen Tabby Cat popping up on a few FLOSSTUBE videos and stuff of late, and I think there might be a couple of stores in the States that stock some Tabby Cat linen. So I just ordered a few pieces of some fat 8s just to see what it was like. And then it took so long to get here, and it finally arrived on Saturday morning. So I'll just show you. I only have plans for one piece, and I'm very excited about it, and I've got to work out whether it's going to work or not. But first of all, I got, so I used Zweigart. I got 40 count, a fat 8 of 40 count, the cat's whiskers. And it's a very soft, warm grey, really. It's quite nice. It's probably going to show really badly because the light's just all blowing out and stuff. So, but yeah, it's a really light, beigey, sort of warm grey. It's very pretty. So we've got that. Yeah, no idea, as I said, what I'm going to stitch on that. I got 40 count wood smoke. And that's just a lovely neutral. Can never have too many neutrals. It's very brave of me to get fat 8s, and if I'd known it was going to take a million years, I might have ordered larger pieces, but I sort of wanted to see what the fabric looked like, and you know, there's lots of smaller pieces that can fit on a fat 8, so it's that one. And then this bit I got, this piece, which I think I'm going to use, I hope to use for Urban Stitches, the, what's it called, Poison something Sal. It's still in, like, we don't have all of it released yet. It finishes in August, I think, so I might just wait till it's released and then do a floss toss, and once I know what all the designs are. It's a black work, largely black work design, and it's going to be a shelf with a whole lot of poisonous herbs in jars, like in an apothecary's shop. And it's got a frame, and it's got it's when I went on about Bruce Willis, that which does not kill you or something like that. So it is Swagger 36 count ragamuffin, and I'd seen somebody show this, and it's very unlike fabric that I normally use, but I figure it'll suit a vintagey sort of piece, and slightly gothic-y piece, and it is absolutely scrumptious fabric. I do love it. Like, I would wear a top, I'd wear like a tunic top. It's really tie-dye-y and grungy. So I think it's going to look really good, and I intend to use overdyes from my stash when I chart it up. It's charted for DMC and a couple of different colourways. There's sort of a muted one and a brighter one. So I think I'll just wait for the whole thing to come out and then look at and just stitching it not as part of the sale, but yeah, ragamuffin. It's really lovely. It is really lovely. So that's the main reason I put the order through, was I'd seen someone show this fabric ages ago, so long ago that I don't remember, and I thought, well, I think that'll be perfect for what I envision for the sale, the Urban Stitches piece. And then, like, if you're going to order one piece of fabric and pay ridiculous shipping. So I did that, and I was very excited when my parcel arrived, when I saw that it was, you know, from France, addressed to Nouvelle-Zélande, and it arrived. I was so happy. Finally, the last bit of haul is a little bag that I was meant to get from Judith a couple of weeks ago, but I ended up being up in the Waikato at a funeral, and it's just a little bag that she made from Bridgerton fabric, and it's almost what she calls a London size, a smaller bag, and it's got this really cool pewter zip and a picture frame on it, the zip pull, and inside it's very Penelope Featherington fabric. I envision, if you know, you know, I envision keeping probably like plum streets and stuff, plum streets that have houses, the smaller chart, because it'll fit a plum street chart in there. This might be my plum street projects that have or have houses. So that is new to me, which is very exciting. Drink. Okay, what have I stitched? Quite a lot. So you may recall that my new start last week was voted by you the people, Morning Star by Blackbird Designs, and it was start number 15 of 50 for my 50 at 50 project. So I started it, and I think I'd said I might just stitch this afternoon. Well, I did. Start and finish on the 24th of April. It took me about 5 hours to stitch it, and I used a scrap of 40 count Oyster from Country Stitch, and I used my own conversion with Tom and Lily Creations floss, which I didn't even use one full 6-strand piece for each colour. So it's quite funny, we get very excited about it, and it's like I think in one colour I used like three single strands, and it's tiny, so I think it's going to have to be a little cushion at some stage, and it's dinky. So here's my hand. Fits in the palm of my hand, and I don't have huge hands. So there is it there, and I personalised it with my initial, finangled the date, because on the chart the 2011 has like, the 2011 has a sideways, like a little O, little 0 and a sideways 1. So I managed to just make it up as I stitched, because I'm really lazy, so I just stitched it and did the 2022, made it work. And I really like it. So yay me. So that was, start and finish, 15 of 50. Here are the colours that I used, if you care, from Tom Lily. Chocolate, Ecorse, Gorgon and Sesame. So I'm going to give this away. This chart was originally a rack from Sean from Australia, and now that I've stitched I'd like to pass it along. So if you would like to stitch to be in for a giveaway, I'll post this anywhere, so that it can be not just New Zealand. Just say, tell me something about your morning, what you like, what's your morning look like? Do you drink coffee? Do you sleep in? Do you go for a jog? Do you stitch? Just say something about morning. As long as morning, M-O-R-N-I-N-G, is in your comment, you'll be in the draw for this. Next up, I decided to pick up Oriental Lady Grace by Joan Elliot, and she's from this book. It's one of her sisters. I picked this up at one of the retreats it might have been the retreat in 2020. I think I picked this up from the Wellington retreat. And I want to stitch quite a few things in this, so I intend to stitch Oriental Lady Beauty and Oriental Lady Wisdom, and maybe the fans, and probably that's it really. Maybe some of the kimono. But anyway, it's a great book, so if you hang around long enough I'll pass this on, but it'll be a number of years. So this book, A Cross Stitch Collection, Oriental Odyssey by Joan Elliot. A lot of the designs that are in this book are available through her website. Anyway, I stitched Oriental Lady Grace on 32 count linen in the colourway Taupo using call for DMC, including the devil's thread, the sparkly thread. I did only use one strand where it called for two, because I started with two and it was just too thick and horrible. So I went down to one strand and I finished her. She was started on the 27th of February 2021 and I finished her on the 25th of April 2022. So I think she looks really good. So bear with me. Nicely ironed. There she is. So when you saw her last, I still had some I had to do all the back stitching. I had finished the infill, although when I was doing the back stitching I found 2 stitches that I'd missed, so I filled them in. And yeah, I'd started on the dark green back stitching around the leaves. I'll show you a bit closer to see the sparkly thread around the black border. And the little birdies are cute, and her hands aren't too hideous, because hands can look awful with back stitching. Yeah, and there she is. She's very lovely. I'm so happy with her. So there's Grace, done and dusted. So yay me. And then I decided to pick up Panoply of Peacocks by Tempting Tangles Designs, which I'm doing on 40 count Silver Fern linen from Country Stitch using my own silk conversion. This was start number 6 of 50 on the 20th of February. And so my own silk conversion is not very similar to this. I mean, they're in the ballpark, but I've added extra colours in. I'm not going to use a light colour like that. I've changed where this is supposed to be charted the same colour as this. I've used an extra colour. The infill and the tail I've changed to another colour. I'm just going a bit off piste with it as I work my way around. I'm working around a counting error that's over here, and I'm just making it work. So making it my own. And so I picked it up and thought I'll get going on one of the big motifs, and man, it was quite a big motif. So these turkeys here, I know they're peacocks. These 4 here is what I stitched. So added a different colour in to stitch them in a darker blue. It's the same blue that I stitched Life After Death with, and then I added in a new shade of turquoise in there for the infill, and it's quite a big motif, it's pretty much, nearly in the centre. I'm at just on 40% stitched of this design now. So yeah, I plugged away at those peacocks and got them done. And then yesterday at the stitchy group, because I was stitching with, because Judith and Anne were there and we're doing a stitch along, I picked up my Ruskin's penguins. I had missed, so I'm only at this stage sort of only stitching this with them. So and I missed a stitchy catch up a couple of weeks ago when I was away, so I picked that up. And I did do a little bit last night, because as I said to Judith, I wanted to finish the border, and I had been, I'd missed that other weekend. I think she'll forgive me. So I'm stitching mine on 32 count Wintergreen by Country Stitch with my own cotton conversion. And this I started on the 15th of January at a stitchy get together with a little group that Anne organises, a stitch and knit group. And here we go. I got all the border done now. Yay! So I'm very happy with that. And now all I have to do is do all the innards, which is, compared to the border, a lot less stitching. But I plan to, when once Judith and I have finished this, we're going to plan to start Nora Corbett's Gigi together. No hurry though, so it'll be started some time. But yeah, that's got that little bit done yesterday, which was quite cool. So I had to pretty much do the majority of the top border and a little bit of infill in here, but it was mostly that top border that I had to stitch across. And how do I know that's the right way up? Just a trick for what I do. So whenever I have a piece of fabric, if it has a selvage, which usually it does, because it's only when I do a real small, when it's an offcut, but I usually, you know, need a fat eighth or a fat quarter or something. But I always keep the selvage, so I know which way is up. I will always have the selvage on the left hand side or the bottom, depending on which way the fabric. So if this fabric needed to be oriented this way, then I would know that the selvage is at the bottom. Because I stitch bottom up and from left to right, I figure it gives my project a bit of robustness because I roll this way and I stitch this way. So I always know that my selvage is always going to be the bottom or the left, and that way when I pick it up after a break, I don't have to think, oh, what way up was it? I just always know that. And if for some reason I needed to stitch a design that looked like a square and I didn't know which way was up, I didn't have a selvage, I would just mark the top of my fabric. But it's just something that I always do, that I know that the selvage is always, yeah, on the left or at the bottom, depending on which way the fabric needs to be oriented. I guess one exception would be as if it was a printed fabric that had a particular, I don't know, printed with trees or a scene or something like that. Well then, of course, obviously you would know what way the fabric was oriented because it would be specific to that. So that's my stitching. So quite a lot of stitching, made hay while the sun shines, and got some stitching in while I was still working from home. Okay, two more things. I got some giveaways and then I need to talk about my project for this next week. So we had a few giveaways last week, some little bags of random charms and Nora Corbett Ava. So I did the random comment picker and just picked everyone's names out. First of all, the bag of charms that loosely has dog themed, like there's a handful of dog things in there, as well as a whole lot of other things like turtles and feathers and an Eiffel Tower. But dogs was Judy Stitches. So hey Judy, that's Judy H from Thames. Judy, I have your work address, unless you've changed employment. I mean, it's probably the same address, so let me know. I'll flick a comment to you, so let me know if you need to give me a new address, otherwise I have your address from previous. So well done. And then the bag that was loosely called Christian because it has a couple of crucifixes with Jesus on them in there, along with fish and unicorns and keys and all sorts of random stuff. Darth Vader Stitcher, so Jodie, I also have your address. So unless you've moved, that'll be coming out to you. I don't know this person. I presume you're in New Zealand because I did say only to New Zealand, so hopefully you are. And I'm going to hopefully not butcher your name, but this one was the kids bunch, which was, because it has some little dolls and a baby carriage and some quite childish sort of charms, along with the other random assortment of shells, dragonflies, four-leaf clovers, tree of life, etc. Zaklina, is it Zhetova? Zvetan? I don't know how to say that, I'm sorry. But Zaklina, I'll put the name and I'll comment on your comment. So yeah, hopefully you are in New Zealand. Can you let me know? You'll have to email me your address, the email's down below. If I haven't heard from you by next week, then I'll pick someone else. There was, I think 7 people were interested in this pack. So, and then finally, Piece de Resistance was Anna, and the first name to pop out was Christine George. And Christine, I have your address. So yay, congratulations, this will be coming out to you. So I'll probably wait to see who wins Morning Star next week, and then I've got quite a bit to post, so I'll post everything out that week. I mean, also I need to get Zach Cleaner's address, but I've got something that is a giveaway, something for Zeb as well from a couple of weeks ago, so I won't post it this week. I'll post everything next week after I have heard from the couple of addresses to clarify, and once I've picked Morning Star out, a winner for that. So that's all the giveaways. It's quite a few little things, but I like being able to share, and I'm not a collector. I'm not a collector of cross-stitching stuff, so I'm pretty much, unless something's given to me, like, you know, Chris gave me a chart which is personalised by Carolyn Manning, so I'm going to keep that. So when I stitch that, I'll keep that, but that's because that was a gift, for a personal gift as opposed to a pass the stash kind of thing. But I'm always going to pass on charts that are given to me to do as I wish. If someone loans me a chart, of course I'll give it back to them. And finally, so we've got week 16 of 50, start 16 of 50. I forgot to bring my book of days, but I have had 15 starts and I have eight finishes of those, so that's good. So from my 50 at 50, I have 7 whips, and then I have, I think, 4 other whips that are not related to 50 at 50, and I think I've had 3 or 4 other finishes. I think I've had about 12 finishes this year, so I'm very pleased with that. This week I'm not sure, I don't know. I had thought about doing the Hunt. The Hunt was the one that came in second, but the only reason I hesitate is it's charted. I feel like from a stitching thing, it's going to be similar to Panoply of Peacocks, and that I have it charted for, you know, peacock coloured silk on, I mean, if I'd have won last week, I would have started it, so that doesn't really make any sense, on 36 count. So it is a different count fabric. So I'm thinking about this. I might not make a decision. It might still be a surprise. And I was going to stitch with 2 similar but different shades of silks for you. So I'm thinking about that. I had also thought about starting A Perfect World by the Scarlet House. Chart's too big to fit in my little house bag. I'm thinking about that, and that one I've got mostly the called for on, looks like Victorian motto linen. I don't know, so I'm thinking about that one. I'm also thinking about Plum Street. So this, I was going to say, this could fit in my Plum Street bag, which it doesn't have a house on it, but it has bees on it. I love those bee skips. So this was a pass the stash chart from Sam at My Needle, and I've got it all kitted up with my own conversion on a Victorian motto sampler shop. Victorian motto. Oh, all 3 of these have Victorian motto sampler shop fabrics. All, yeah, I don't know. And then I also pulled out Joan and Privé Cat Lovers, which Sam is working her way through, and this I will do my own conversion. I've just changed the colours a little bit, tweaked the colours, made them a little bluer, a little more lavendery and corally than the colours. I don't know what to do. And this is Fibre and a Whim fabric, 36 count. So, I don't know. I might even tiny decision it yet. Every time I see Sam stitch this, I love it so much. It looks so good stitched. Okay, I've got enough. I've got a couple that have borders at the moment, you know, quite big borders. So maybe I won't do the Plum Street because it has another border. And even though I love borders, maybe I won't do that one. So okay, I'm not going to do that one right now. I'm already doing the pandemic sampler, which has two big ass houses I'm about to get to, so maybe I won't do this one, you know, and it has critters and stuff, so critters, animals. So okay, I'm not going to do this one right now. It comes down to the Hunt or Cat Lovers. I'm just going to do the Hunt. That was my gut feel. So I'm going to start the Hunt. I don't care. I like stitching with silk, and it doesn't matter that the colours are similar. I'm going to give that a go. And so it's going to be start number 16. There you go, decision made. It was my thought processes. I'm looking forward to getting this started, because especially since it's something that you don't see a lot, because the chart's not like a current chart, and Zeb gave me this chart and I'm really pleased to start it. So there you go, start 16 of 50 is going to be the Hunt sampler. I'll give that a go this evening, see how we go. I start bottom left corner and there's nothing there, so I'll count into that. I might start in the middle, bottom, and then with that letter, and then work my way across. That way it'll be easier. If we don't, the less you have to count, the less likely it is you are to cock it up. So there you go. I'm going to start with that one there, and that will be start number 16. I haven't planned much. What's this month? I haven't planned May at all. I don't do Mania. I don't really do those challenging things. And I don't need to start a whole lot of things. I'm already starting a whole lot of things. So I guess for me, the main reason why I would participate is it's that sense of inclusion. But I find being part of, you know, a couple of Facebook groups, being part of FLOSSTUBE, and my engagement with all you lovely people every week is enough for me. You know, the odd catch up and with some stitchy friends here in Wellington or Dunedin or Auckland or what have you is enough. So I guess I don't need to participate to feel included, but I do enjoy seeing what people are doing. So don't think I'm not interested. It's just not for me. It's just like I don't do those challenges where you need to find a project that has blue or is to do with a particular theme. I'm like, I just stitch on what I feel like. And I try and finish things. So yeah, have fun with May for everyone who's going to participate. I know there's a group or two locally that are, when I say locally, I mean New Zealand, who are looking at setting some Mania goals and all that, which is kind of fun. So I look forward to seeing everybody check in regularly with those. In the meantime, I'm just going to carry on doing my thing in my own little way, and I think you'll agree that's working for me. So thanks again for coming along and watching my FLOSSTUBE video. I really appreciate it. And all the lovely comments last week. Thank you for kind comments and thoughts and prayers for my friend and my cousin with their recent losses and stuff. And also your best wishes for my dad. He's a bit of a challenge as my dad, and I can sometimes be a bit flippant, but that's how we are in our family. I try not to worry because there's not much I can do. And I'm just glad that he's feeling well enough to be out and about and doing things, because I'd rather he do that and feel useful and than to be mouldering away in a home somewhere. So if we can keep him going, however we do that, that's a great thing. So have a good week. Wish me luck maybe getting on a train for the first time in 3 months. I'm a bit nervous about the vid, but we'll see how we go. Okay, I'm going to go. As always, don't let your needles rust. Ciao.